greed. And I'm getting with this particular tarot that you're trying to dip all parts of yourself into one whole. So you're trying to like fill in all parts of yourself into one section. Like you're trying to like, oh, if I focus, like for example, Four of Pentacles is like, if I focus on a little bit on every aspect of my business or different kind of businesses, then I will make more money because they will grow, versus like focusing on one pentacle to make that growth happen, versus like focusing your attention on Four Pentacles. It's creating that illusion that you will make more money, but you're trying to like put all parts of yourself into four different things, and then in the long run that's just not going to work out. But Four of Pentacles in traditional tarot deck is about greed. It can be about like reservation in the sense of like you're reserving your finances. But oftentimes it's about like you're keeping things to yourself, you're constraining yourself. This can be about your finances and in the aspect of that you may need to constrain your finances this month, Virgo. The Empress. This is interesting. So the Empress often is the symbolism of fertility, of womanhood, but also she has the symbolism of that she has everything that she needs. She brings into the earth what the earth brings back. She is the earth, she is the mother earth, she is the pregnant earth. Like consider the Empress is often depicted as always pregnant, because she is abundance. And the fact in this, she's holding a mirror. So this can be like getting like an illumination, because there isn't even like a depiction of a face, but she's holding a mirror. This can be about your own reflection, about your identity, about how you look at yourself. But the comparison of the Four of Pentacles with the Empress is that you're trying to constrain everything, but then at the same time, the opposite is that the message is that you're constraining yourself in order to bring forth abundance. So there could be a potential of restraining your purchases can actually bring forth more abundance. But also it can be the shadow of this is that you're straining yourself, and in contrast with that of the Empress, who is abundant, who is pregnant, who is fertile. The message of femininity and flow, and that to bring forth abundance, because she often is depicted like she's out in nature and she's lazing around. She's not working. The message of the Empress is that we receive through just being there, that we don't actually have to do anything, because she's on her throne and she doesn't have to do anything. You will receive in the month of April, you will receive a possibly like inspiration for projects, or it's a wand of creativity, a wand of passion. And Ace of Wands is often like a wand of passion in the sense of like an actual, you know what I mean, like Freudian phallic symbol. Ace of Wands is often depicted within that. But we can see there's like a desert. So it's like it's having that, like ultimately you have like having that nothing, and the Ace of Wands comes through, and that we have that sense of abundance comes through in the barrenness of life. And it's that passion, that excitement for something that comes through for you in a moment of absurdity, in a sense, or in a moment of like scarcity, in a moment of feeling like you have nothing, because we see the mountains. Mountains are often depicted as obstacles, as like something you have to overcome. Mountains are often depicted with the hermit, because he has to climb a mountain. The message of the hermit is that he has to climb a mountain by himself, and then being objective of what he sees, and then coming down the mountain to teach others. That's the message of the hermit. So mountains are often about the journey, the personal journey that you take up you take on. But the fact that it's all barren, and the Ace of Wands, it's something that comes through to us in the most absurd ways, in the sense of it's spontaneous, it's erratic, it comes through with no sign of growth in our environment. So you might be in a state right now, Virgo, where you have your environment doesn't feed you. Your environment makes you like it's barren. But, and I'm getting that with the Empress, you have to trust in your Empress power, because even in a barren environment, you have that potential to grow anywhere. And the Empress doesn't come through, doesn't feed on growth from keeping things to themselves, to herself, to himself. Because the Four of Pentacles is constraint, it's restraint, it's trying to keep every pentacle to themselves, and in some way that can be good. And it could be a signal for you to restrain yourself in order for the true passion, for the true desire to come through. Because we have to remember that not all desires we have is our desire, our soul's desire, our higher self's desire. That some desires come through because we want to be a lawyer, but is that our true desire, or is that our parents subconsciously pushing that they want us to be a lawyer? So that's what you have to consider. But you have to also consider, with the Empress and the Ace of Wands and this barrenness in your environment that's bare, you still have that potential to grow. And that's abundance, that's prosperity. It's able to see growth in the most barren of environments. Consider that when you have nothing, actually you have everything. Virgo, you're going to get some kind of inspiration to start something new through passion, through creativity, through a project of some kind. We have a Page of Cups, and we have the High Priestess at the back of the deck, which tells me that you really need to listen to your intuition. So the Four of Pentacles can still be constrained, because it doesn't have to, the Four of Pentacles doesn't have to do with money. It could be constraint of, like, who are you listening to? Are you listening to your higher self, your higher intuition, your higher guide? And with that, the Page of Cups is about that Pisces energy in regards to the High Priestess. It's the Pisces energy, High Priestess, in the sense of, like, you're talking to the fish, you're listening to your intuition. And so, like, the Ace of Wands is going to be that spur, that passion that's going to get you excited, and you're going to have that vitality and that curiosity. So Ace of Wands with Page of Cups, this is about your creativity. This is about your imagination, tapping into your imagination. What do you want to happen in your imagination? Your environment might be barren, but your imagination is blooming. Your imagination is spurred. There's a spark. And this can be, Page of Cups is also an emotional message through your intuition. Emotional message of creativity and following that emotional guidance, because you can see they're blindfolded. They can't see, so they're seeing through or feeling through their intuition, because fish are connected to flow, to our intuition, to our flow of our emotions, intuitive messages of our emotions. In some way you're constraining yourself. So it is that spark to listen to your intuition. You might be feeling constrained, constricted. So that Ace of Wands could be a spark to actually listen to your intuition, the High Priestess, in regards associated with the Page of Cups. So this is implementing a responsible study in April. So that Ace of Wands, that project, could be starting you on a journey to the study of life, to the study of being connected to nature in regards to the Empress. So the shadow of the jackrabbit is, or the rabbit in itself, is that, like, you're jumpy, you're move into something too soon. It's being the tale of the tortoise and the rabbit. The hunting dog, that's interesting. The hunter versus the hunted. The river, following an authentic thought. So that is the Ace of Wands. That spur of passion that ignites you to listen to your intuition and to flow into the fish. Connect to the fish. The biologist is the study of life. It's the process. It's the experimentation. It's observation. It's seeing how the nature of things unfold. Four of Pentacles, the lesson with the Four of Pentacles, that you need to reserve yourself and to maybe even in the spur of the moment, always listen to your intuition, because if you act too fast on something, then you will be discovered, in the sense of when you're hunted and you jump out too fast and then you're seen and then you're killed. So rabbits in themselves have to listen to their intuitive senses, outside senses, as such as their eyesight and their ear sight. But also this is about listening to your intuition. Possibly this is a Four of Pentacles. I'm getting like it's a constraint of your earthly element, more of a connection to the spark of a fire within you that sparks you to actually listening to your intuition and not counting on the expected responsibilities. Because I know as a Virgo, you're an earth sign, so it's not about like foundations and that everything is in place and that it all makes sense, and looking at things like, well, it doesn't make sense for me to follow this creative spark, or it doesn't make sense to listen to my intuition because it's taking me away from where I want to go. So you're like this constraining of your money, constraining of your resources. The Empress constraining of the resources. The Empress doesn't constrain her resources. She gives freely because she knows she has more than enough to give. But also you might be in a time of a period where you're just observing, where you discover a new species, you discover a new plan, you discover a new creative project. So give yourself a time to just study, be fascinated. And that goes with the Ace of Wands and Page of Cups. So to be fascinated, to be excited, to be that creativity and that joy and that childish, not childish, but that child wonder of life. And we're in the Page of Cups energy. We're in this dream state. We're in this excitement of life and wanting to engross in it as a biologist. Think of yours with the Page of Cups and the biologist. This is about children being out in nature and they constantly ask a million questions about like, oh, is the earth hotter than the sun? And why do we need to wear sunscreen? And why are some trees small? Why some, like, question? It's those imaginative questions of your environment that's really going to spark that joy and excitement and that connection to your intuition. As a Virgo, as an earth sign, it is important for you to go out in nature. And the jackrabbit and hunting dog can be, I don't know, maybe you're hunting for that intuitive spark to jump into something, but advice is to go out in nature, but to be in the flow, following that authentic thought, following that authentic urge, it's about that authentic flow and following that one spark, which will lead you to following your intuition, and it will slowly be just a natural trail. And also with the hunting dogs, I'm getting that like they often go off trail, and the hunter doesn't put down their hunting dogs because they go off trail. They don't say, oh, it doesn't make sense, you're not staying on the path. So this might be about like going off trail, which goes back to just exploring your environment, giving yourself that opportunity to follow an authentic spark, a new environment, possibly that child wonder of like what's out here, and really just a time of like scribing and taking notes and collecting information.